Hey guys, welcome back. Track is dry, but I uncovered a problem. So this is one of my main bashers. It's a Slash two-wheel drive. Only slight modifications. It's still got a stock Felinian motor in there, GTR shocks, low center chassis, low center gravity chassis, 17 millimeter hubs. What is going on is my steering was acting pretty screwed up this morning, and it's loose as hell. So what I'm gonna do is go in there and look at the bell crank. All right, guys, bear with me. I haven't had this one apart in a little while, but I know that this plate here is gonna have to separate at least. So I'm just going to start taking screws off and see how far we have to go. I'm going to start with these three. After those three are out, I flip the truck over and I'm going to take off these two here. Okay, now the front end here is loose. I'm going to take off both the tie rod ends at the front knuckle there. So there's going to be 2 screws at the end of the adjusting rods, the tie rods. Okay, with both tie rod ends off, the last thing holding this front end on is nothing. Hell yeah. So this front end comes off and you can throw that off to the side. And now we should be able to take a look at these bell cranks. So what I'm seeing is 1, 2, 3 screws that are going to have to come out, and then that whole plate should drop out after that. With those 3 screws removed, I can just drop this bottom out. I don't know what else could be holding it on. Oh, there she goes. All right, so now we have it out, kind of. I don't really want to undo the servo, so I'm going to try and work around it. So after like an initial kind of inspection here, it looks like this one maybe has, backed out a little bit because this screw is up a little high. Maybe not. So I'm going to take this screw off. Oh shit, there we go. Broke. Well, we have found the problem. All right, so look at this. The lower skid plate, the pin that comes up off of this is actually broken. So now I have to dig through my parts drawer and see if I have one of those or not. And if I do, we're going to be changing out the skid plate. All right, so I found one. There's your part number. I do have a video on this that I did a while ago, so I'm going to go ahead and slap this baby on. All right, so I just looked through the videos I posted on my channel. By the way, like and subscribe if you are enjoying this kind of content here. But I don't have a video installation of this. I thought I did. So this is going to be an install video also. So this is a Traxxas Slash two-wheel drive LCG lower skid plate installation video too. So anyway, last thing I gotta yank off of this is the servo. It's gonna be 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, servo's out. Now you can see what actually failed. So that whole tower here just sheared right off. So now you just reverse the process. I'm gonna put the servo back on. If you remember, it was those 4 flat screws. So 1, 2 on this side, 2 on that side. All right, the servo's back on. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the bell crank back onto the lower skid plate. It's a lot better. Now there's a little bit of play, you know, in this thing here, this servo arm. I don't know if I have another one of these or not, so we'll take a look. So I didn't have a new servo arm, but I did have some new ball ends here, or tips. I'm gonna order a new one of these, I think, just to have it on the shelf. All right, so now new skid plate is on. We're going to slide it under, and then we're gonna have to reassemble this thing. I'm gonna start with the 1, 2, 3 bolts on top. With those 3 bolts in there, now I should be able to kind of reinstall the front end here. After you get it in the correct position, put these 2 screws back in up top. I'm not going to crank them down, I'm just going to loosely get them in. You know, snug, but not fully tight. Now you should have your 3 down at the bottom. These I'm going to go ahead and tighten up all the way. I'm going to put them in equally. I'll go ahead and tighten these top ones now that we know the bottom's all lined up and everything. See this side right here, there's a crack on this thing. So I'm not going to go hard on this side. I'm going to snug it up. This one I'm going to go a little harder. All right, now you got to reconnect your tie rod ends, or tie rod arms, whatever you want to call it, adjusting arms. All right, tie rods are back on, and the steering is corrected as much as it's gonna be. This thing has still got all sorts of other slop. You know, the bearing carriers are worn out, everything else. It's just flopping all around, but at least the steering is fixed as far as when I turn the controller, it's going to turn the wheel. You know, when I was driving it this morning, you turn one way and then you go to return and it would get stuck, you know, there and then pop back, and you know, so it was just makes it difficult to drive. But like I said, it's still pretty cattywampus and loose, but at least I can steer. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helped somebody, even if it's one person. Hopefully it was entertaining enough to, you know, so you guys can see what the, well, at least kind of like what the front end looks of a slash. Super easy to work on, once again. Now that I've refreshed my memory, I could have this thing apart and back together in, you know, probably less than 10 minutes. So it's super cool to be able to do that. If you break it out on the field or on the track, as long as you got the right parts and the right tools, you can slap it back together and get it rolling. Thanks for watching.